Joining us now, actress and activist Laverne Cox, featured in the Netflix documentary Disclosure, premiering this Friday. Laverne, you've been a trailblazer in your field. What was your reaction when you saw news of this decision today?
I was shocked. Quite frankly, it's still shocking. I had the great honor of being present at the Supreme Court during oral arguments on October 8th of last year. And as I sat there, I heard Gorsuch's questions, and I said, I feel like he might be on our side, but I was like, that can't really be the case. But it turns out he was. And when I spoke with the ACLU about their approach of this textualist approach to their arguments, it was the approach that indeed won the day. We know Gorsuch is a textualist, and it's really shocking. And it's also shocking that it is a 6-3 decision. And what it reaffirms to me is that everyday people, average everyday people, like everyone out there watching, can make a difference. Amy Stevens, Don Zarda, and Gerald Bostock are just like everybody else. They were working their jobs and doing their best, and they were fired simply for being who they are. And they said this isn't right. They fought, they sued, their cases went to the Supreme Court, and they have changed case law for every LGBTQI person who will follow them. And that's amazing. And so everyone out there who is marching now, this victory is obviously tempered by another murder of a Black person by police in Atlanta. But as we march and as we fight for racial justice and justice for everybody, we must take this moment to remember that our voices matter, that our protest matters, that each and every one of us can make a difference.
And to that point also, though, the president rolled back Obama-era transgender patient protections in Obamacare and did it on the anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting. We don't know yet, have to read the decision. Does this cover that as well? One presumes it would.
My understanding, according to my friend Chase Strangio, who works at the ACLU, is that basically that this decision from the Supreme Court today makes that rule moot in terms of the discrimination that the Department of Health and Human Services was trying to implement around transgender folks in healthcare, because now we have federal law that explicitly says that sex discrimination does actually include sexual orientation and gender identity. And so if it applies in employment, it also should apply in healthcare and in other aspects. So my understanding of the law, according to my friend Chase from the ACLU, so talk to Chase if I'm wrong, that this decision on Friday is now moot from the Department of Health and Human Services, which is insanely gorgeous. And also, HUD wants to do something similar for homeless shelters and trans folks. This decision from the Supreme Court, I understand, would also make that attempt to make discrimination legal also moot from the Department of what is it? HUD. From HUD.
Yeah, I mean, we just want to share just how broadly this is now supported. The polling shows this, as well as take a look at this rally, a Black Trans Lives Matter rally in Brooklyn just this past weekend. Look at that crowd. You know, it's pretty extraordinary when you see this is a large, diverse crowd, as we understand it from all the people who are reporting there. But just look at this resounding support. Things do change, and this is one of the issues on which there has been more change in a shorter period of time than almost anything that we can remember. Laverne?
Absolutely. But I think it's important for folks to remember that just because public policy changes, it does not mean that the hearts and minds of Americans change. Each and every one of us has to do the work, as hopefully we all are doing right now, to interrogate the ways in which we've internalized racism and white supremacy in a culture that continually devalues the lives of Black people. We must also do this for the ways in which we've internalized transphobia and homophobia. It is incumbent upon each and every one of us to interrogate the ways in which we've internalized and may or may not perpetuate these systems of oppression. so that so that the law that now exists can go forward with justice for everyone. This law does not bring back to life the two transgender women who were murdered last week, Dominique Fells and Raya Milton. Does not bring back Tony McDade, the trans man who was murdered in Tallahassee, Florida, by police 2 days after George Floyd. So we have to change the hearts and minds, and we have a lot of intersectional work to do around racial justice, around economic justice in this country as well.
Such important reminders. Laverne Cox, thank you very much for taking time today. I know how busy you must be today. Thanks for joining us. And also, everyone, be sure to check out Laverne's Netflix documentary, Disclosure, later this week.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.